Good evening, everyone, on the 18th of January 2024. First video for me of this year, and today I got to show you this delightful Hornby super detailed class 67. Only bought this very recently. It didn't cost me much at all, actually £4.10. That's all it cost me from Hornby with the rewards points. And I had £162 with reward points, and that was enough to purchase this because it was on offer for £99, plus the TXS sound decoder and the Stay Alive, which I have decided not to fit in this loco for now. May save that for something like the T2MT when I get that one, because some locos don't need one. I got one in the 31. I guess it's good as for peace of mind, for reassurance if it's there. But yeah, thought I'd do a short video on this and let you and show you the sounds and see what you think. I think the sound file is the one that was on the TTS sound, which is a good sound file anyway. However, as you know, with the TXS sound, it's been upgraded speakers, so you do get a better quality of sound. It's certainly less tinny. So I thought I'll go through some of the sounds with you now. So working lights on this model, that's on. So there we are, off and on again. And I think first I'll show you a cold start and see what you think of that. So it's 9 for a cold start. So you press 9 and 1, and then we'll have a cold start, which goes well for a very cold day. Here in the UK, it's one of the coldest days of the year, as many of you know. Yeah, you can hear us struggling a bit there. Unless if we had a nice clag of smoke or something like that. And now it's back to normal idle. I had a bit of a faff with this because I've got two phones, and the phone this is being filmed on is my iPhone, and that's the better phone for video quality, sound, etc. So I got an Android phone I use for work, so I was trying to set it up through the app on the Android phone, so I could use this phone and go through it whilst videoing. For some reason, I know a lot of people had trouble with the Androids, the Android phones working with the HM7000 decoders. I know people have had problems there, so I got a problem resetting the decoder, and then I put the reset code in, and then it just comes up error resetting the decoder. So, but with the iPhone, it seems to work flawlessly. So that's a bit of a shame. But what I've done is I took pictures of the different functions and switched it back to DCC mode. So on the NCE power cab, I know what numbers goes with what sound, if you know what I mean. So yeah, as you could probably hear, it does sound absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, I have decided to sell this loco. I've put it on eBay. I bought it on a bit of a whim because I had the rewards points, and it was a good deal. But I love modern image, you know, but this layout just doesn't suit it. Obviously, you can see the background of the layout there. You can see it's more, I'm going for more of a preserved railway theme. So you can see what I'm saying, really. It just doesn't seem to fit in, and it's only a small layout as well. It's only 6x4. So the idea was to get the Mark IVs and the DVTs, but I don't know if there may be some gauging issues there with that. So, but anyway, let's go through some of these sounds. So, good selection of horns on this one. So number 2, that's a horn. 3. Multiple horns. 4 is brake squeal. Function 5 is notch up. And 6, function 6 is notch down. 7 is return to idle. And 8 is diesel thrash. Let's give this one a go. Before we do this one, I'm just going to move it back very slightly because it's a little bit not quite in the right position now for the camera. So very slightly. There we go. Obviously there you can see the lights change with the directional lighting, as I said. Put it back forward for that way. So that looks better, I think. So let's go for the thrash. And that's function 8 for the thrash. Let's go for 3. Let's go for multiple horns as well, shall we? With that. Again, I know that one, but that sounds good with the thrash. Oh, there's another type. Oh, a few different horns there on function 3. Very good. Let's turn the thrash off. 8 again. Number 9 is the cold start, which we've been through that. And on page 2, we've got 10, which is the compressor. That's the compressor. "11 is the cooling fan. A lot of these I ain't even been through myself yet. Obviously you can play 3 sounds at once. Instead of with the previous TTS decoders you could only play 2, obviously, hence the name XXX sound, which is quite good. So we need, well, I'll go through each sound at a time because it kind of gets a bit confusing when you've got the sounds going. So let's turn the cooling fan off. That's off, and the Spyrex valve is 12. Let's do that one again. Maybe that one's when the sound's off. So we'll leave that one, but most of you know what that is anyway. Right, 13's carriage brake squeal. "14 is flange squeal. "15 is door closed. A simple one. 16 is buffering up. 17 is AWS test. Let's give this one a go. I haven't seen this one before. Guard's whistle, 18. Sorry, I should have said that one before I played it. 19 is coupling. Right, that's page 2 done. Page 3, we've got 20 wagons clanking. That's quite cool, I like that one. and 21, 22, 23 and function 24 is aux lighting, so I assume that's if you want to add additional lighting. 25 shunting mode, so I guess that changes the sounds. If you shunt in a heavy load, it simulates that. Function 27 is the brake. I think that's just a brake function that you more for when you're using the app. I have used it on the I have used the brake function before on the app, and it's quite good. It brings it down to a slow, gradual speed if you didn't want to do it on the controls. Function 28 is automated function. Now, this is a good function. It basically, with the ESU decoders, as you know, the brakes come on automatically when you stop the train faster. But with the TXS decoders and the TTS, you have to press 4, function 4. But with the automated sounds on, the brakes will come on automatically as you stop. But the only problem is I've had trouble with it, with not being able to shut the loco down or off, so not being able to have the start up sequence of the loco and then a shutdown sequence, things like that. So I tend to just turn it off. But obviously, it's no hardship just to press 4 as you come to slow it. It's something I wish they built that in. But yeah. But anyway, let's move on to other things whilst this lovely loco is idling. This past week and a bit, it hasn't been very good for the hobby, with the cancellation of WARLEY, which I was planning on going this year because I did the Great Electric Train Show last year. So a bit gutted about that, but I'm thinking it does save me a few pennies. It's very expensive to go there for parking now and to actually go into the show. Where the Great Electric Train Show, it was quite reasonable to go in and it was free parking. It was a bit of a pain because you had to get the shuttle bus, and that took quite a bit of time because they couldn't use the parking at the MK Don Stadium. So that was a bit annoying, but it was still free. But usually they don't have a match on the day the show is, so usually you can park right outside the exhibition. And because I was paying cash as well, I got in before all the people that had the reserve tickets, because not many people were paying cash and they're letting you go straight through, so that saved me sort of another 15 minutes in the queue. But yeah, gutted about that. But times move on, and as you know, this hobby is getting very expensive. Like I said, this model was a bargain. It worked out, it didn't cost me anything because of the reward points, but it would have cost me £90, which is a bargain. That was because the NHS blue light discount as well, that factored in. That bought another tenner off, so that brought it to £90, which is a bargain. But saying that, when I remember getting the 67 when it come out, 2012 I think it was, so you're talking nearly talking 12 years ago, so that's quite a long time. Can't believe it's actually that long ago, 2012. It just sounds like 5 years ago to me. It was around that price there. I think I paid for the first one I got was 110, but that was DCC fitted as well. But that was, quite a good price for a new loco at the time. But that was around the time when prices were starting to creep up. Nowhere near the level they're at now, but still very expensive. Especially when you add the cost of the model. When you add up the cost, it's not just buying the loco and it's ready to go. If you do DCC like this and DCC sound, there's an additional cost, whether that's a sound decoder or a normal decoder, added on top of that already expensive loco. So yeah, gutted about that, the WARLEY show, and I just think people aren't buying as much. I did notice at the Great Electric Train Show that lots of models were being sold at discounted prices, and I've noticed there's been lots of sales on the TMC website, etc. As you know from my previous video of one of my previous videos of the Batman Class 47, I got quite heavily discounted at the Great Electric Train Show. and that just one stand discount, and several stands were doing quite heavy discounts off the Batman 47s and 37s. So maybe the hobby's still very strong, but maybe you'll see things done in not so massively produced. It's funny, certain locos come in, don't they, and sell like hotcakes, and you sort of wish they made more of them and you can't get them, and then there's other ones that just sit around for months and months and they can't sell, and then that's when you get them at discounted prices. So yeah, but that's the way it's going, I think, with the cost of living crisis and things like that. You know, food and other things, you know, essentials come before hobbies at the end of the day. If people haven't got as much disposable income, they're not going to be, you know, prioritising the spare money for model trains. And, you know, anyway, waffling on. Again, sorry, losing track where I'm going. The next thing, HATTONS. Let's go there. Absolutely gutted. Bought things from them. The first class 67, in fact, I bought. That was on pre-order from HATTONS. When I bought that, great. Always many of happy memories. When I was younger, in the magazines. Back then, they had about probably 5 or 6 pages of models in the magazines, and they were the first ones in there to actually have pictures of the models as well. Some back then, when I was younger, couldn't always sort of loco name or loco number wouldn't really make much sense, but you could actually add a picture there to see what you were buying. Back then in the magazines, they had lots of it just in just writing of what it was, so it was actually really good, and they were always the best on price. That was at the time. I think they probably caught the wave of DCC sound when that was coming in, and I think that helped accelerate this hobby. And the models were a lot cheaper. Obviously, weren't earning so much, but when I bought my first sound loco was the Batman Class 66, and it was a birthday present, and this is probably going back to 2009, so quite a long time ago. But that was 130, and that was a lot of money then. But now you're looking at more than double that. I know it's 15 years ago, but more than double that in a lot of cases. You know, and yes, some of the models are better quality, but there's not that much of a difference. Like, compared to the difference between the new Batman 47 and the old Batman 47 isn't massive. From a distance, from like step back a bit, you probably won't be able to tell. But back then, going back to that time, the Batman 47 compared to something like the Lima Class 47, there was a massive difference. It was like chalk and cheese. I can remember, because first model railway I actually had as a permanent setup. Back then, before DCC, I had just a couple of like Lima diesels and little Hornby 040s, so nothing special. And then when I got into DCC, just that these models I've been running were already probably 15, 20 years old by then, but these models I was getting was like the latest thing. And I can just remember the first time trying a Batman Class 25, testing it, and I just couldn't believe how quiet it was. Couldn't get over it. I was always used to like the Lima locos, as many of you know. I think it was the pancake motors, or can't remember what they're called, but they're always so loud. You know, you wouldn't be able to have DCC sound with them. If you'd hear the motor over the sound. So that's what I was always used to, noisy locos. And you know, my granddad was the same. We had a layout round there, and you know, it was all older stuff. We'd run either old Lima stuff or old Hornby stuff, and it was great fun, but it was nothing like what you get today. But yeah, I think, you know, if I had to say the best time for model railways was probably that era. I know you look back at things through rose-tinted glasses, but that for me was the era when I first got into DCC sound in 2009, and it was quite revolutionary. Whereas now, yeah, we have come on well with things like this, with the HM7000 DCC decoders with the Bluetooth. You know, that's great, you know, even though it does prove to be a pain, as I've described at the start of this video, with wanting to operate it off a different phone. I've had to switch it back to DCC and run it off the NCE power cab. And that's the problem as well. With the TXS decoders, you actually got a function list. I suppose because there's so many locos, they can't do a function list, but for every one. And they're going to be adding new locos to it all the time. Like this 67 is a new one. The 2MT's on there now as well. That's why I didn't buy a 2MT at the Great Electric Train Show, was because of wasn't on the app yet for the HM7000, but now it is. So that probably going to be the next on the list. Nothing really new's going to be coming in at the moment because money is a bit tight, but so there won't be nothing new at the moment. But the next video I've got coming up is going to be the Rapido 15XX. You can see it in the background there next to the Acura Scale Class 37. That's sound fitted as well. ESU decoder, great loco. As I said in my other videos, I had to send it back to Rapido. When I got it, it ran fine. The motor was a little bit noisy, but I could live with that, but the sound was fantastic. Then I started having problems with it running. Couldn't get around it, so obviously I only had it like a month. Sent it back to Rapido. They actually sent me a whole new loco, and this one so far, touch wood, has been great. And the motor is quieter as well, so that's even better of a bonus there. So that'll be the next video. I'll try and do that on the weekend. You know, as many of you know who do these videos, you've got to be in the right headspace. At the moment, other things have been going on, and we've had Christmas, and it's all a bit overwhelming, as a lot of you know. If you're a mental health sufferer like myself, is sometimes you've got to, you know, sort of, the hobbies do help, but sometimes the passion isn't always there if you're not having a good day. So you've got to be in the right sort of frame of mind to do it, like I was today. Come up, got set up with a proper tripod I got for Christmas with lighting, so the lighting should be a bit better. The lighting's good in this room anyway, but it should be a bit better. So yeah, great. I'll also try and do some more videos as well, with not just me waffling on, chatting rubbish like this, boring you. A lot of you might not listen this far, and to be quite frankly, I don't blame you. But I'll try and do some more videos of the layout running, and I'll probably do like a layout, a tour of the railway room, because I've got some other models in here, some memorabilia, etc., that some of you might find interesting. And we'll try and keep them videos a bit shorter as well. So anyway, we'll leave it there, and I hope everyone's doing well. Comments are always welcome. I'll reply to everyone. You know, these are the reasons I'm doing these videos, is to join the community. It's to sort of, you know, to make friends and sort of, you know, contribute to the hobby, and you know, just if you've got a channel, I'll look up your channel, I'll watch some of your videos and see, you know, go from there, just to be in the community, you know, where, you know, I live a bit in a rural area, so I don't have many model shows and things like that local, so sort of YouTube is like my live model show, if you know what I'm saying. But anyway, I'll stop waffling on. Take care everyone, and stay safe.